Hey there, this is my Kenworth W990 review, and this truck is fast AF. So starting off, we'll take a quick look through the truck setup and arrangements, as always starting with the engine. So for the engine, they're all very strong, but I've gone for the Prime C13, granting a power to weight rating of S+. I mean, they're all pretty strong. So following this, you can select between stock, off-road and high-range gearboxes. I've gone for the high-range gearbox, given that this truck is already very fast by default. And because you can only have diff lock, the off-road gearbox is no good for me personally because I can better balance the power output of the wheels rather than just locking into low plus. This rounds off the remaining stats as A- for durability and B- for fuel consumption. You can select between stock and raised suspension, although you do need to install the raised suspension for the larger tyres. The suspension travel does seem fairly short, however, which can leave room for the truck to tip over. The truck does not have all-wheel drive, but does have diff lock on a toggle. I really don't use the diff lock very often, apart from on hill starts, as I'll often either back up or retry from a different position on difficult terrain, or just use the winch nudge to get me going again. On the tyre front, you can go all the way up to 52-inch tyres, giving the truck significant ground clearance, and in a rare twist of fate, the W990 tyres actually have decent statistics for the mud, as you can see on screen here. Fortunately, changing the wheel size does not adjust the wheel size of the lift axle, or else this would really work against the truck. The centre of gravity does seem to be pretty high, and combining this with the short suspension travel and fairly stiff tyres, you can open yourself up to some brown pants moments with rolling the truck being quite easy, so prep those quick winch skills. For frame add-ons, you've got plenty of options as the truck itself is a good size. You can run the flatbed trailer crane combo if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it given the weight you'd have behind the truck rather than on it. Logging is a fair option with the truck too, and you can use the Vibrasize unit as well. There is an option for a roof rack, but personally I think it's ridiculous as it's on top of the cabin, lifting the centre of mass even higher. So can the developers just stop adding roof racks to every new truck, especially as this truck has a 380 litre fuel tank and is not exactly thirsty, so it doesn't need a roof rack. If the developers want to add roof racks to trucks, then add them to the trucks that have a large roof space for them, such as the Azov 5319 or any of the Kolob trucks. Give the vanilla trucks some love. There are a couple of visual fancies such as triple exhausts and massive bull bar arrangements, but I avoid these as the exhaust just put out too much smoke. Typical fuel consumption rates with a high-range gearbox hauling long logs in Tamir was up to 16 litres per minute and on roads around 8 litres per minute. Across the Drownlands map, I was a little surprised as to how far the W990 actually got with little intervention from the winch. You do have to actively switch between automatic and high range when the thicker mud and dirt emerges. The main issue with the high-range gearbox is struggling to get the power output on the ground, and this is down to the tyres having a fairly poor dirt rating, which is odd for off-road wheels. When hauling the special movie trailer up the mountain film set in Scandinavia, I really struggled to get out of first gear, and as a comparison, I drove the Transstar 4078 up the exact same route with a fuel tanker semi-trailer and had similar performance. With the off-road gearbox equipped, fuel consumption is mostly the same as high range, be it slightly more on roads than when you're off-road. Your consumption varies so much anyway that you barely notice the difference, so you can go with whatever gearbox you want. It is still pretty fast in fourth gear, and again it does go well as long as you keep the weight over the rear wheels. So to summarise, the pros of this truck include great ground clearance, lots of add-on options, big fuel tank and it isn't very thirsty, and it's got a massively powerful engine. And the cons of this truck include that off-road tyres aren't good in off-road conditions, can really struggle to get the power down on the ground so can wheel spin a lot, fairly high centre of gravity which is dangerous combined with its massive speed, any weight over the front wheels from a crane or spare supplies just kills uphill momentum, especially out of mud. It's the same issue that other rear-wheel drive trucks have, and it needs a lot more skill than the average truck, so it's not really newer player friendly either. It's a single DLC truck pack, and the lift axle can catch on hill crest, which can immobilize you. So after that, it's just a mere 4.5 out of 10 from me. I'm very on the fence about the truck. I want to like it and use it more, but given its limitations, I might as well just use the Transstar 4078 or the Ford CLT 9000, neither of which have a lift axle or I have to pay for, all for similar conditions. If I had a few pounds to spare and I was choosing between a few DLC options, I'd at least either go for a monster power truck like the Mastodon, or a pack that has a few trucks in it such as the Wolf Pack, or just one of the season packs which will have a region and trucks built in. The Kenworth 990 is a truck that is far from a must-buy. And on that note, it's time to wrap up. So I want to thank you very much for watching. If you found this video useful, then please let me know down below and have a great day.